A high-profile murder case is now underway in Tucson for a man accused of killing young girls. In this trial, Christopher Clements is accused of killing 13-year-old Maribel Gonzalez in 2014.
Several new details revealed in court today about the victim and also the evidence gathered against Clements. True Crime Arizona's Brianna Whitney's been digging through court documents and the archives to give us a more complete picture of this complicated case today.
There's so much to this, and a lot of it is so heartbreaking. Christopher Clements was a convicted sex offender by the time he was 16 years old. His sex abuse crimes span multiple states, escalating here in Arizona, facing murder charges for the deaths of two young, innocent girls. Now, for the first time, details are emerging in court about what happened the day Maribel Gonzalez went missing and the crime scene where her body was found.
Cameras aren't allowed inside the courtroom, so these sketches are the first look we're getting at suspected murderer Christopher Clements on trial, in the same room as the victim's family, loved ones of 13-year-old Maribel Gonzalez.
Knowing that he took my daughter's last breath and he's standing right there in front of us.
After Clements was arrested in 2018 for the kidnappings and murders of Maribel and 6-year-old Isabel Celis, Maribel's mother foreshadowing the day she'd face him in court.
Your mind doesn't stop. It just goes and goes. You know, you think of your memories, you think of this guy, you think of how it happened.
In opening statements today, Pima County Prosecutor Tracy Miller revealing Maribel's body was found naked in the desert with nothing around her. Miller says Maribel left her house in June of 2014 to walk to a friend's house. At the same time, Christopher Clements left his home nearby. Miller says when Clements got home, he asked his girlfriend for cleaning supplies, including bleach. The defense says while a DNA test was a partial match for Clements, he claims a full sample would have ruled Clements out as a suspect. The prosecution says DNA and cell phone evidence is enough to identify him as a suspect. It's been a nightmare for Maribel's family for years.
Dealing with her loss is a very hard thing for me because that was one of the closest people to me.
Maribel's homicide was unsolved for years. So how did they link the crime to Clements? The answer is this little girl, 6-year-old Isabel Celis.
As far as I understand, this is the location.
Avra Valley and Trico Road. Kind of familiar with that area. It's pretty remote.
That's Clements talking to detectives in 2017, eventually leading them to the body of Isabel Celis in exchange for a judge dismissing 2 other burglary charges. After the Celis discovery, Clements was in Maricopa County Jail on a different burglary charge when detectives started questioning him about Maribel's death because he was a registered sex offender. Transcripts from that conversation show he alludes he knew about Maribel's death and the deal he made with Tucson PD that led to Isabel's remains, saying word for word, "Let me tell you this. There's a story that I know, and there is a correlation with, well, I guess you could say, with what I've helped TPD with. But that would cost you guys a hell of a lot more than what you'd be able to pay." Clements was charged with both girls' murders in September of 2018.
A whole lot to digest there. Accusations of child sex abuse and sex offenses began in 1993 and lasted until 2015, until he was arrested for these murders. This trial for Maribel's death is expected to last several weeks, and then Clements' second trial for the murder of Isabel Celis will begin next year. Live in the studio tonight, Brianna Whitney for Arizona's Family.
Brianna.